Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the controversial discussion, rim brake versus disc brake. It has been in the topic of my comments all the time. As a bike shop employee slash salesman slash mechanic, I hear it all day long. What's better, rim brake, disc brake? In my comment section, it is non-stop. He would have won if he was on disc brakes or on rim brakes. There's a reason why Egan Bernal is on rim brakes. There's a reason why there hasn't been a Tour de France winner with disc brakes yet. I'm here to just give you a rant, a real quick, and this is from my background or my expertise in working in a bike shop and stuff like that. Now, I'm not a racer, but when I hear this all the time saying he would have won the stage if he was on rim brakes, or there's a reason why there's been no Grand Tour winners with disc brakes yet. I mean, to discredit these pros who are riding these rim brake bikes and saying that they're literally dominating because they're riding rim brake bikes compared to the guy who just lost by this much. It's kind of a shot to the rider themselves. Like Egan Bernal per se, where people are saying, well, he's dominating the stages, look at him in true form, blah, blah, blah. He has an amazing team behind him, an amazing lead out guys, coaches. I mean, you got to remember, they were Team Sky at one point. They've always been dominant. There's a reason why there's a bunch of GCs that always come out of their camp in general. I mean, not only is it Egan Bernal, but they, on any given day, they're guys who pull them as well, have always been kind of a more dominant team. But they've always been riding rim brakes, but it's never been the case of if they were on disc brake bikes that they would always lose, you know? There is going to be a point, I think, in the near future where Team Ineos is going to have a newer bike. I think there's spy photos today of the Pinarello F14 where they're showing off a disc brake model. And it could be true that it goes disc brakes. But I don't know. But to sit here and discredit these pro athletes who train, who sacrifice, who put blood, sweat, and tears into it and saying that they're dominating the sport because they're on rim brakes or they're winning stages, and we glorify it. Whenever these people win a stage, whenever they win a rim brake bike compared to a disc brake bike, and they outsprint someone and they win one stage of the whole thing and then they glorify it, it's mind-blowing. But then, like, on a sprinting stage where you think a rim brake bike would have a better advantage because disc brakes, in theory, will rub because of the torque back and forth, and they would have a slower top-end speed, but the green jersey winner or the sprinter jersey is always won by someone on a disc brake usually. You know, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So this is my discussion between the two of them. Like I said, I think that there will come a time where rim brakes will kind of go out of the pro peloton. I think Pinarello is moving that way as well in the future. And my I've done a video before this in the future. My whole idea behind the reason of them going from rim brake to disc brake was because of the fact that they were making these bikes so integrated or internal, and with a cable with a rim brake, you have this cable that can't have too many sharp kinks, so they can't do a lot with internal routing and stuff like that. So they're trying to make these bikes look as clean as possible by popular demand to consumer, not really the racers. They don't really care as much about the racers. They want to make money off consumers, so they want these bikes to be internal. So that's my whole idea behind it, is that in the future these bikes will go more disc brake oriented because there's more you can do with sharp bends and sharp angles with hydraulic fluid compared to a cable. But even this Tour de France winner, okay, I'm sorry, I've heard his name a million times. Tadej Pogacar. I completely butchered your name. I'm sorry. You deserve so much respect. But he won on the Colnago, and the reason why I bring this up again and even having this discussion, I did a video on the Colnago V3RS with disc brakes on there, and everyone's saying there's a reason why he had this bike for rim brake. He won this on a rim brake bike, blah, blah, get those disc brakes off that bike. I'm like, it's just mind-blowing to me that the people who actually enjoy the rim brakes are just sitting there discrediting these pros, saying, they're like, in their mind, they think that if he was riding disc brakes, he wouldn't have a chance, you know? Or they completely discredit it, or they glorify it to the point where, like, he'll win a stage, but then 3 stages in a row, a disc brake bike guy won it, and they won't even bat an eye. And then later on down the road, a rim brake guy wins the stage again, and he like wins by this much. Like, oh, that's the reason why the marginal gains of the rim brakes are faster. Rim brakes will always be lighter bikes, and they will definitely be a bike that everyone's been used to because these pros have been riding on bikes. I'm not saying anything wrong with rim brakes. Rim brakes have been in pro peloton for years. I mean, that was the norm for the longest time. But it doesn't make any sense to sit there and say that someone on a disc brake bike is going to lose. I mean, again, bring me to the point of Julian Alaphilippe, who won the world championship for the men's, and he was on a disc brake bike. In a bike race where it was completely a solo effort. There's no teams behind it. There's nothing like that. a solo rider went out on a disc brake bike and won that. Now, I'm not saying that disc brakes beat rim brakes and that they're so much better, but I'm just saying it just becomes to a point of how that racer is, what kind of form he is in for this race. Sometimes people just have better races than other people. There could be a favor in that race, and because it's a bike race and a long bike race, and he might not be feeling that hot that day, someone else could win it. Now that's the whole thing about racing. Again, the Williams brothers, the Team Legion, one of the most dominant crit race teams in the nation, in the world, are riding a disc brake bike. Now, in theory, when you think about crit racing, it's sharp turns, or not sharp turns, but turns, slowing down, accelerating, stopping, accelerating, sprinting, bring up speed, which a lot of things people would think with a disadvantage with disc brake bikes, because you're slowing down, you're stopping, put a lot of torque on the bike, re-accelerating, a lot of disc brake rub. But they win a lot of races. They sprint, they put out massive watts on disc brake bikes, and no one says anything about that. So I'm not saying anything wrong. If you enjoy riding rim brakes, that's fine. If you enjoy riding disc brakes, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with either of the two. What I'm trying to get at is, you can't sit here and say that these people win these races because of rim brakes, because you're discrediting that athlete completely. These people have been training. They have a lot of money in coaches, a lot of money in teams. They have they put countless of days, weeks, months, years of their lives to the sport and train to become this professional athlete, and to sit here and discredit them saying that the only reason why they're winning these races is because they're on a rim brake bike compared to someone who won a disc brake bike is ridiculous, because then anyone could be like, oh, that's like, that's like a car race and being like the guy for the Formula One Mercedes, the Hamilton guy, and saying like, oh, if you put him in any other car, he wouldn't do as well, but because he's in the Mercedes winning. Again, you're discrediting that gentleman's skill level, or anything like any kind of sport. If you're talking about basketball and the whole team always wins because they're wearing Nikes, and be like, oh, put them in Adidas, they're not going to do that well. I mean, you're taking away from that person's sport. At the end of the day, if they're professional athletes and they're all training on the same skill and same level, it's going to come down to, if I'm on disc brakes and I'm on rim brakes and I've been training my whole life and we're going to win this stage, and whoever wins the stage is going to be the winner of this whole entire race and the GC rider, I'm going to put my heart, sweat, and tears into it. And if I lose it, I'm not going to say I lost because I'm riding a disc brake bike. I lost because there's a better athlete that day who beat me. So there's no real fair advantage to rim brakes, because if that was the case, everyone would be riding them. It's just a fact of life. I mean, no team wants to spend all this money to rep someone, to show out someone, and stuff like that, and be a sponsor to it, and buy this team and put so much money into paying for these athletes, and then literally be like, oh, we're at a disadvantage because we don't have the right bikes. No, they know they have the right team, they know they have the right coaches, they know they have the right nutritionists, and they're putting out time and money to win these races. So that's my take on it. I'm sorry that I ranted for a while, but I get so many comments all the time about rim brakes, and I don't care. Like, I don't care if you like rim brake, but just don't sit there and say that that's the reason why they won. I don't care if your rim brake is, like, when I show off a tarmac comp that's 18 pounds, I don't care if you have a 2006 Olay aluminum frame with rim brake that's 16 pounds. Good for you. Like, I mean, bro, I can take off this McDonald's cup out of my cup holder and it'll be less weight, Like it's slim. I get it. I get what you're saying, the numbers and stuff like that, but I'm just showing off these bikes to people, for people who want to buy them. And you're over here sitting here saying that bike's trash because it has disc brakes on there. Doesn't make any sense. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And thank you guys so much. See you guys later.